Hello, we're going to continue with Daniel 7 and the 10 toes. Before we get to Daniel 7, let's talk about the 10 toes. So, Rome had 10 kingdoms come out of it. That's why it says 10 toes. That's 10 body parts. So and it was divided into Eastern and Western Rome. That's why there's 2 legs. They had Visigoth, Spain, Alemanni, which we know is Germany, Lombards, which we know is Italy, Suevi, Switzerland, or Sweden, Anglo-Saxon, England, Burgundian, Switzerland, and Portugal also had an ancient name. And all these ancient names we know as modern-day names today: Portugal, Switzerland, England, Sweden, Italy, Germany, Spain. But there was 3 that we're going to go over that were as weak as iron: Heruli, Vandals, and Ostrogoth. Were all destroyed, and we're going to find out why. Why are we studying this? We need to understand that God's word is absolute, and so we can resist our enemy, the devil, who wants to take our souls to the everlasting hell. So this is nothing to play around with. We need to understand this prophecy. There's more about this prophecy. In Daniel 7, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, this was Nebuchadnezzar's son, Daniel had a dream, and a vision passed through his mind as he was lying in his bed. He wrote down the substance of his dream. Daniel said, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the 4 winds of heaven turning up the great sea. We know winds are wars, so there's wars happening between kingdoms. 4 great beasts, each different from the others, came out of the sea. We know the beasts are kingdoms. In the Bible, so he told me this interpretation in verse 16. The 4 great beasts are 4 kingdoms that will rise from the earth. But the holy people of the Most High will receive the kingdom and will possess it forever. Yes, forever and ever. Then 4 beasts came up out of the sea, 4 kingdoms on the earth. The first was like a lion. So again, we're talking about these 4 kingdoms that before the Roman emperor. The last one was the Roman emperor. The first was like a lion, and it had the wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. So we have one with, the first was like a lion, and had wings of an eagle. Then a lion is very majestic, it's king of the jungle. And an eagle is also, its wings are its pride. But this eagle's wings were torn off and lifted from the ground. The lion lifted on its ground like humiliating it. And it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. And what is a human being's weakness? We know that's lustfulness and intoxications. That's what gives people over to the flesh, the nature of the flesh, without thinking about the things above. Then if this animal or this kingdom was given the mind of a human, then we know the first kingdom was Babylon. Then his son was not the same as he was when he ruled the country. He was getting intoxicated, and he had a lot of women. So his country became weak. If you see in a circus, you'll see a lion standing up on 2 feet. That's humiliation, and it's losing its power. Then who came to take away his power? And there before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear, and it was raised up on one of its sides, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. It was told, get up and eat your fill of flesh. Then there was a second beast, which looked like a bear. Then we know that was the Medians and the Persians. But the Medians were not as sophisticated and educated people. They were very barbaric people. They were cave people. Like they weren't civilized. They were like, so that's why one of its legs was lifted, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth, and between its teeth, it was told, "Get up and eat your fill of flesh." So it devoured Babylon. It conquered it. That was Media Persia. And it had 3 ribs in its mouth because it conquered Lydia, Babylon, and Persia. Persia conquered Babylon, the Medians, and Lydia to the south. That's 3 ribs it conquered. That's why it had 3 ribs in its mouth. And God went in very detail with us to show us about this prophecy. After that, I looked, and there before me was another beast, one of a leopard, and on its back it had 4 wings like those of a bird. The beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule. And this beast or kingdom looked like a leopard, and a leopard is very fast. Then who came next? Alexander the Great had 4 wings like those of a bird. Then why does it have 4 beasts and 4 heads, and was given authority to rule? And if it had wings on it, and it was like a leopard, this was the fastest animal alive, because it was an eagle with a leopard with eagle's wings. Those are 2 fastest animals. It was soaring. Then Alexander the Great conquered the whole known world in just 3 years. From 30 to 33, he conquered the whole known world. And he had 4 generals: Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and there was one more name, a Greek name. But there was 4. He had exactly 4 generals. That's why it says the beast has 4 heads and is given authority to rule. After that, in my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was a 4th beast, terrifying, 4th kingdom, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. Why was Daniel scared of this beast? It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from the former beast, and it had 10 horns. Then this was a different kingdom because it didn't just have physical power, but it also had spiritual power. The only thing that scares a child of God is the evil, the devil. Then here we're talking about the devil coming from the Roman emperor. While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one. A little kingdom came up out of the Roman emperor, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. The papacy, the Roman Emperor Constantine, through the Roman Empire, the Roman Catholic Church, they took up Heruli, Vandals, and Ostrogoth. That's why you don't hear those names anymore. They were like iron. And it uprooted before it. It had eyes like the eyes of a human being and a mouth that spoke boastfully. And this is the devil himself, boasting. Then why is the Catholic Church the devil? Because God said so. God said this little horn, this kingdom, the papacy that came up out of the Roman Empire, was going to be not just have political power, but spiritual power. And it's going to boast, and it's going to have the eyes of a human. And the Pope himself rules this church. And we know this is a church made by the devil. And then next we're going to get into Revelations more about the devil and the prophecy of him.